Right, so this one is a special, it's an absolute special today. It's your boy ComEddie Kadi. Welcome to ComEddie Hour. I say ComEddie Kadi because these days I spend so much time online, I'm no longer a real person. I'm now virtual. So I don't call myself Eddie anymore. I call myself ComEddie Kadi. This is the ComEddie Hour. Of course, we laugh, to keep ourselves from crying. And throughout this week, particularly today, as I'm talking to my brother right now, it's actually Africa Day. So as we're talking now physically, it's actually Africa Day, and it's a beautiful moment. I want to introduce you to someone I admire, somebody I performed with on the continent and here in the diaspora, and has done amazing work from all over the world. He's a Canadian diasporan, of course, lived in Great Britain for many years to the point where he's become one of the most successful comics that we've had, especially from the continent, in reaching great heights. His name is Daliso Chaponda. He's the son of Malawi, and it's such a pleasure to have you here, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing fabulous. Well, as fabulous as one can be during lockdown.
Bro, how fabulous are you? Break down the lockdown from your point of view, from Daliso's point of view.
Well, I live alone, right? I live alone.
Same.
And I just think we are doing the hardcore version of lockdown, right? People who live with 2 or 3 people, I'm like, you're not in lockdown. I'm in lockdown. I have not touched a human being in 50 days.
And these are the issues we realize that is, usually I've realized about human beings now, bro. We go to clubs and we pretend like we don't want to be there. We go to church gatherings or weddings, we're like, I've been forced to come out. But now human beings are really showing that we lie to ourselves. We're always happy to be around each other. We just pretend. But now we can't pretend no more. I'm like, I miss human contact. I really miss the people I don't even like.
I miss stuff which I used to hate. Like being on a crowded bus, standing up, pissed off because everybody's standing in your face. I wish I just want one crowded.
The top of your head stuck under an armpit.
Exactly. I'd be under that armpit right now. Oh, you're so good.
But you seem happy, bro. People say this about me, actually, to be fair. They say, Eddie, you're always a happy guy. You're always very vibrant and stuff. And I'm like, because, our job is to provide happiness. It's just the real deal. And then I have my moments. I share those moments with the ones that are closest to me. Are you the same? Are you the kind of guy?
Yes, very much so.
We have the same energy, I always feel.
If I'm on a camera, that's when I'm in a good mood. If I'm doing a show, I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
And that's me most of the time. When I have a depressed day, I just stay out of people's way. And no one needs to see this.
What if your depressed day comes with the day you need to work? What's your technique? Teach me, bro. Bro, teach me your technique. Because sometimes I feel like, before I go on stage, it's not happening for me. And I do my best, but I don't think I still mastered a technique to be like, everything else to the left, let's focus, it's game time.
I think the main thing is I have to be talking about something I've never talked about before. Even just one joke I've not talked about before. Then I'm excited about that, and I can forget the rest. When I'm doing one of those days where you just do old jokes, if I'm in a bad mood, I can't get out of it.
Yeah.
But if there's one new thing, instead of worrying about my problems with my girlfriend or whatever, I'm worrying about, will the joke work? Will the joke not work? And it's so funny how that little thing becomes the biggest thing in the world, and you can forget everything else. So very much.
I'm glad you touched up on that, man, because you're basically saying comedy is also therapy for you, not just for other people, of course. Now, but it is for you when we're used to getting on the plane, performing, getting on the bus, driving, get in the car, the train, and going on the stage, and there's people, interaction. They laugh, we know that we're doing well, we continue with the next joke. Or they don't laugh, we say, okay, that next joke might not work. Let me shift it up a little bit. All those interactions have gone for now. What have you, are you still gigging us, are you still
I'm doing a daily show. I'm doing a daily show every day, streaming it like this, called the Coronacast Comedy Show. And I found that, just the people in the chat saying that was funny and LOL is keeping me sane. I'm telling you. I can't hear the laughter. I can't hear the applause. But I'm like, come on. Just put a smiley face, man. Put a smiley face. I need it. And when people clap for the NHS, I pretend they're clapping for me. I'm like, yes, some applause, man, some applause.
That's probably the best time to introduce yourself, when you know that, okay, it's Thursday, it's 8 p.m. They're about to come out to clap. Let me time my intro to that. And introducing Chaponda. The whole of London is outstanding. 100%. So, Malawi, break down your vibe with Malawi. Were you born there? When did you leave? You know, what's
so
your in Malawi?
I was born in Zambia because we had a dictator in Malawi. Okay. Benevolent dictator, which means they kill, but they kill less, right? So we had a benevolent dictator. My parents sort of ran away from them. Yeah. So we were refugees for the first 12 years of my life. And then the first time I was allowed in Malawi was when Kamuzu was gone.
Wow. So you're saying when your parents fled to Zambia, they went to Zambia, you was born in Zambia.
I was born in Zambia, but we were like, no one wants refugees, as is still the case. So we were in Zambia a few years, then we were in Somalia a few years. We were like just moving around. And then luckily though, my father got a job with the UNHCR who help refugees, but also will take intelligent refugees and say, hey, work for us. And then now we were moving as diplomats. And so it was funny, he went from being a refugee to helping refugees.
Helping refugees. And this is the thing, they always say, God never gives you more than you can handle. You know, he was a diplomat in training. So you're very much a Pan-Africanist when we're talking about you went from Zambia to Somalia, you moved around.
Everywhere.
And ComEddie has enforced that with you. What's the most beautiful thing about traveling across the continent?
I think the best thing is, I used to hate the fact that when I was younger, I was an African freak. Like Africans felt I wasn't a real African. Because I'd go to Malawi. When I've been, you know, I've been in Austria, I've been in France, I've been in places, my accent is wrong. I don't speak my local language well. I've got weird values, like I don't think homosexuality is wrong. And like the white people have convinced. And I had different values, different accent, and I didn't fit in. And then I found ComEddie. Now they're proud of me, right?
Now, you're welcome, our son.
You're welcome. And it's so great. I'm no longer a freak. In fact, they even, like old men will come to me and say, I don't like your comedy, but I'm glad you're doing it out there. Show them. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. And I think I felt the acceptance for the first time. Malawians boast that I'm Malawian. When 10 years ago, I was on the radio being told by a radio person, you're not Malawian. Why are you pretending?
Literally, you know, it's actually interesting when you say that. It's like, I was speaking to a friend of mine who's Somalian, and a lot of people say, you know, are you really Somalian? Or are you really African, rather say? They've had that for a long time. You're not black. You know, you're Arab. You don't really fit in like that. Like, who are you to tell me whether I'm African or not African, or I'm Malawian or not Malawian? How do people determine this, bro?
And it's also that thing where I couldn't fit anywhere. Because then I went to North America, and I was like, oh, maybe these black people, I'll fit in with them. But I'm not gangster, right? I'm not hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, I roll in a suit. I got no chains. I don't fit in there. And then in Africa, I talk, my accent's wrong. And I was just like, I don't fit in anywhere. And comedy is the only thing where they're like, okay, come in. It's good you're a little bit different.
I want to introduce you, Seyi, to Daliso. Seyi is based in California. Hollywood. Awesome. He's Nigerian. This is a clean comedy. I'd say clean. You know, that's what I really want to get into. We were just having a conversation just about identity, and you know, Daliso is from Malawi, and you know, him being questioned about his Africanness. How African are you? Of course, you're Nigerian, bro. Is it safe to say, Daliso, that a Nigerian is African?
They're the realest Africans there is, man.
You know, do you feel African, Seyi, in California?
Well, let me tell you something. I had a lot of what you call it, confused identity from the Americans when I got here, because you know, Americans just think Africans are just one, right? Yeah. So when they see a Nigerian and somebody from Congo or Kenya, they're like, oh my God, you're African. I have an African friend. Yo, meet Eddie, meet Seyi. All right, if we speak in English, we're like, why you guys speaking English? Why don't you speak African to each other? I'm like, okay, all right, there's nothing like African language. Eddie is from like California, is from like Chicago. I am from like LA. That's like 4 hours flight, and we don't speak the same language. Even in my country, we don't speak the same language. They're like, what? Other questions I get asked. I remember within a month of getting to America, I met this elderly lady. She heard my accent. She was like, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nigeria. You know the next question she asked? Have you eaten today?
Oh,
you know
my God.
Commercial that about $20 can feed kids for 20 days, you know, like $20 can feed 20 kids for 20 days. I'm like, have I eaten? I said, I don't understand. I said, because I see commercials on TV that $20 can feed 20 kids for 20 days. I'm like, ma'am, I'm from Nigeria, most populous black nation on earth. We have exporter of oil.
Yes.
I got food in excess. I don't know what you heard.
Yes.
I don't know what you heard about me, but let me tell you something. The Nigerian guy in me came out like, yeah, I don't know what you heard about me, but I ain't like that.
You know, but that's the thing. This is why it's crazy, right? Because even though we're talking about the misconception of people looking into Africans, we Africans have a misconception. We haven't even conceptualized the fact that we're such a big continent with so many different faces. Like, you know, like Nigerians don't know much about people from Malawi. Malawians may think they know a lot about Nigeria. They may not know. They may see one face. Congolese might not know much about, you know, Somalians. We've now reached a time where unity is important. Now, you know, Daliso, I wanted to break down to me, what does unity mean to you? Because, bro, like I'm sick and tired of people assuming that when you're talking about Africa, you're talking about a country. But I'm also sick and tired about when people assume when I talk about Congo, I'm only going to talk about war. Bro, let's do, like, what's happening?
Yes, I actually think that's the point. I think the problem is people only focus on negative things happening in Africa, not positive things happening in Africa, right? You will hear about war. You will hear about, like, you'll hear about war. You'll hear about starvation. You won't hear about dancing. You won't hear about, like,
because some of your countries you can't dance. Can we just keep that?
Yes, let's be serious.
Some of your countries, please don't give me that. Don't give me that speech. Some of your countries you can't dance. I don't need to go around the continent to know. I've never seen a Malawian dance. I'm not even for how long, so I've never seen you dance.
It's very hips, man. It's very hips and butt related. The rest of the body isn't dancing, but Malawian hips and butts can dance.
Yes, they are influences.
Yeah, they have influences.
But yeah, you were saying, bro, it's true. It's that fact. We only know about certain things.
Yeah, and I think the other problem is, like, there's lots of little rivalries which are reinforced all the time, right? There's all kinds of xenophobic talk, right? Oh, these people are coming into our country and they're the reason we're broke. And I'm like, they're not the reason you're broke. The rich guy in your country is the reason you're broke, not the other broke guy coming in from Mozambique or something. And that's a big problem in Malawi. People are broke, struggling, and then they'll see foreigners coming in who are also broke and struggling and put their hate on them instead of the system and the corruption, which are the real problems.
Okay, that's the point. I mean, when we're talking about this situation with Nigeria seems to be like they're in their own world, man. Nigeria is like they literally go. Nigerians will say we are in Jupiter. You guys are on Earth. I've heard this too many times, bro. Like, what is it about your people, man? That they're in their own world. What is it? How can we? What is it, Seyi?
Okay, you see, the thing about Nigerians is that within Nigeria, you know, we have so many tribes. They are competitive within themselves. You understand?
Yeah, man.
The Yorubas are competitive against Igbos. Igbos are competitive against Hausas. Hausas are competitive against people from the Middle East. People from the Middle Belt. Now, people from the Middle Belt are competitive against South. Nigerians are just naturally competitive. Sorry about that. They're just naturally competitive. Now, another thing is, what I've realized about unity is one thing brings unity. No, let me say three things that I know brings unity amongst either countries or African as a continent. Like, you know, Eddie, anytime I see anything from Congo, I tag you.
Quickly.
You know why? I realized that I did not understand what the dude was saying, but that music was speaking to me.
So sweet.
So
music is definitely the one. You're right.
Music is one uniting factor.
That's so
You cannot argue that, because let me tell you, in music, sometimes you don't even understand. Awilo was big in Nigeria. Kofi Olomide was big in Nigeria.
And you have no idea.
In Nigeria. They have no idea how big they are.
Let me tell you what happened. Don't go to school.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Let me tell you what happened. In the early, in the mid-90s, right? Awilo's coupe something. Yeah, Coupe Calais, something.
Yeah.
That song was so big in Nigeria. Awilo didn't know. When Awilo came to Nigeria, guess what? The stadium was so packed that he was afraid to come out.
I've heard this story so many times from Awilo himself. I've heard it from Peter P. Square. He actually said he has an injury. The guy said, during those times, the stadium was so packed, I was trying to climb over and I felt this is my injury from Awilo. So it was crazy like that.
He was mad. He was even sponsored by Brewing Nigerian breweries. He was packed because of that song. That song was so big. Even Julius Agu had to make a version of that song and it became popular. Julius Agu made a version. So the music is one. Second one is sports. You know, during the African Cup of Nations.
Oh, yes, right.
During the World Cup, right? When one African country is left, the other African countries rally behind that single African country.
It's not just that. Like, if I'm watching like white people playing, whichever team has more Africans, that's who I want to win.
Exactly. That's why everybody supported France at the World Cup.
We supported France.
Exactly. France had all the African countries in them. You understand? So music and sports, they unite us like no other. Then comedy, you know, like what we do, you know, when comedy is happening, you know. So let me tell you, but the strongest of all them all is that music. When I heard that song from that Nwaza guy, man, I'm like, who is this dude? When I say it's from Toga, I say it's only one person.
So what he's actually saying is,
you missed number 4 though. You missed number 4.
These children, let's hold our hands together so Congo can win. That's what he's talking about, so we can be victorious.
Yes, unity. Okay, what are you saying?
The number 4 one though is pastors.
Oh. I want to hear this one.
I'm telling you, like, as much as I think that we've got crowds as comedians, I will watch these pastors and I think I should start preaching. Because
I want to start a church. Why do you think Nigerians have a lot of pastors?
But you know, this is the thing. I heard about a church that uses a helicopter to take a church offering. The helicopter has to land with so many people, collects the offerings, and goes back to Jupiter.
And fly away.
This is.
You know that.
Ask now, where did the money go? They'll be like, we bought another helicopter. I don't know. So
let me tell you.
Tell me.
If you check the richest pastors in the world, top 5, Nigerians are top 3.
The Americans.
There are 3 Nigerians in top 5. 3 Nigerians.
Oh. And the rest are Americans, right?
The rest are Americans. Americans do it the same stuff.
The rest are Americans, yes. Americans.
So Daliso, have you done gigs in the States?
I've not done the States. I've done Canada, and I did like an open mic.
Okay.
Because I have not been able to get the visa. I'm going to talk to you later. Find out. I don't know how Nigeria has got Nigeria has always got the hookups. They can get visas everywhere.
Bro, let me tell you a quick story before I ask you, Seyi, before I ask you about your situation, because I want to know about the scene in the States. There was a caller in Nigeria where they said there was a cutoff point during the COVID-19 lockdown. This is early. And they said if you're an American citizen, planes will be flying these days, right? So all American citizens should turn up at the airport at a certain time and they will leave. Bro, half of the country, half of the city, bro, half of the
Eddie, have you started with us again? You have started with us again.
Bro, the image was there. Half of Lagos was there at Murtala Mohammed. Americans, how do you guys are special? I just love the Nigerian energy. I love the Nigerian hustle. It's at the forefront. You are a Nigerian in America. You've not cornered yourself in just, I'm just doing the sort of African scenes. You've actually been able to cut across. What's it like for you there as a comedian in America?
Well, you see, the advantage we have as Nigerians is because, Nigerians travel a lot. So they are everywhere. So you can actually make a living by doing just strictly Nigerian events.
Yeah.
There are about 1 million Nigerians in the US. About 1 million. So wherever Nigerians are, they must party. They must have naming ceremony. They must have birthdays, weddings. Oh God, wedding season. Like anytime from April, if not for this bloody COVID, April, May, June, July, August, up till September. I
thought your bloody was in capital.
Oh God.
How many cancellations?
Oh God, I know how much I've lost since this bloody COVID started,
I don't even look at my old calendar. You know, your calendar still has the gigs in it,
bro.
And I'm like, just don't look at what I was meant to be doing,
bro. I looked at my calendar. My calendar said, "What is it again? You don't understand." That's what he actually said. That's what I knew. I knew it was a problem. Yes. So you say weddings. There's so many opportunities.
So yeah, those are some of the things that work for us because of the population. So you can actually make a living working. But you know what? Blending.
Also, I think you forgot to mention there are lots of Nigerians, and Nigerians have money, right?
Yeah.
Malawians.
Yeah, hard work.
I can go to an area where there are loads of Malawians, and they're not buying my tickets. They're seeing me on the road and saying, "Oh, I'm a big fan," and I'm like, "I've got a show today." They're like, "Can you hook me up?"
How big? That's the question. That's the question. You know, but it's true. It's true. So like,
you know what? That is so funny in the sense that, let me tell you, because Nigerians brag and they have to back up that bragging with money.
Yes. Yes.
So they work so hard. You understand? The thing about Nigerians is, I will tell you, they work hard and they play hard. They are extremists. Anything they do, they take it to the extreme. If Nigerians wants to steal, they will wipe you clean. They won't leave a cent. You know, some people will steal, they say, "Let me leave $1." Nigerians will wipe you clean. You understand? They don't steal halfway. They steal all the way.
You know,
if they want to love you, they will love you all the way. If they want to break your heart, they will shatter it. You will be able to pick the pieces.
I saw this when we brought Basket Mouth to Malawi, right?
Okay.
And all of the local Nigerians, they were like, "Okay, we want tickets. We want VIP tickets." And we said, "No, it's just normal tickets." They're like, "No, we want the VIP ticket."
Hey,
we just want tickets. They said, "We'll pay double. Give us VIP." Wow. So we had to just create VIP because they wanted to show we are the best.
Wow.
No, Eddie would know this better because Nigerians are ego-driven.
Oh yeah.
If you want to do a business with Nigerians, and you don't put an avenue for them to flex their ego, you will lose. And you will say, "Oh, I'm doing a show where everybody is equal." They won't come.
They won't come.
But tell them that there's VIP. That's why it's only in Nigeria you hear VIP, VVIP. What in the world is VVIP?
Bro, Chris Brown was performing in Lagos and he said, "Why aren't people getting excited?" Like, in his mind, he's like, "I'm Chris Brown." He didn't realize the people at the front who were sitting at the table, they were not fans. They were not fans. They came to be entertained, but they were not fans. The fans were there. So he was almost like, to calling for the fans to come to the front. I even know a story of a man who booked about 4 tables. He said, "Make sure you put my name as reservation on my tables." He didn't.
Can you imagine?
He didn't tell him. He just wanted the name. He didn't tell him. He paid for the tables.
Yes. They are ego-driven. See, if you want to know how Nigerians think, just think Eddie Murphy's father in Coming to America. That's it. Remember when he said, "I will do no such thing. The man is beneath me and so is his daughter." That's how they think. They just think that everything is beneath them.
But they do work hard enough to back it up. So now, with everything we've spoken about, guys, like the power that we have, look at how much we've dissected our different cultures and how much we're celebrating and laughing. Right now, it's Africa Day, it's Africa Week. I want to call it that. And we're celebrating the continent, but at the same time, we're raising awareness. On your side, Seyi, what do you think is the best way right now for us to start actually taking advantage of this situation and using impact and using relief to uplift our people even more, to add to what they are already doing, man?
Yeah, you know, now when people are like down, when they are depressed, people are depressed because, you see, depression in the Western world is different from depression in Africa. When a white man tells you he's depressed, it could be some inconsequential thing, right? But when an African tells you he's depressed, it means you don't have money. Money is the only thing that causes our depression. An African can lose his money in the morning. Give him $1 million. Oh my God, depression is gone. But you can give a white man $1 million when he loses his money, you'll still be depressed. That's not me, man. If I lose my mom, you give me $1 million, depression out of the window. You understand? So, and that's the truth. So at this period, right, we need the people that make them smile, right, to be the one to pass the message of hope to them. The footballers that they love, the actors they love, the comedians they love, the dancers they love, to bring them like hope.
Yes, sir.
You know, either through a concert or a TV message, you know, because let me tell you something about Africans. It is easy to get us out of our funk when you just give us just one thing that makes us happy. It could be somebody you love so much, you respect so much. This is where we need the celebrities.
Yeah.
The African celebrities, this is where we need them. The actors, footballers, you know, do something, speak to them, you know, that will raise their hope. You understand? So that is why, you know, when you told me about this, I'm like, moment they forget their worries. That is why if you notice that in some African countries, when the country is going through something, they organize a charity match, they organize a concert, they organize, you know, something just to lift their spirits, because our people really need it.
Escapism, for sure.
Exactly. So that's what I think would work for them, you know. And on a regular basis, I just, you know, let them know that there's hope. Africans, and that is what the pastors take advantage of. You know, when you preach a message of hope to somebody who is hopeless, they will feed off with you, you know. So we need to give them a message of hope this time around. And it has to come from people that really matter to them.
That's true. Daliso, what's the situation like at home? I wanted to tell
So Malawi.
So wait, before you...
Yeah, Malawi...
I wanted to tell you, first of all, what are some of the things that people have said back home about COVID-19? Some of the most ridiculous things.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
Misinformation is the thing.
Malawian WhatsApp is a nightmare, right? Because there are so many crazy stories going around, right? They found some plants that look a bit like COVID, right? And they were like, if you eat this, you won't have COVID.
What do you mean looks a bit like COVID? Like the image that we've seen of the
image of the COVID. God. And there's a plant which has those things sticking out. And there were these guys who found it. They're like, we found COVID. We found COVID.
We found COVID.
We found COVID.
They found COVID in Malawi.
They found the COVID plant. They're like, eat it, we're fine.
So for them, that's literally what's going on. So this is not a Madagascar situation. This is
no. This is just in the rural areas. So these are just some guys in the village who are excited because they found a plant which looks like it.
Is information actually getting to these people? Is the government sharing information with those beyond
the biggest problem is main source of information is WhatsApp, right? People don't listen to the radio. People aren't reading the newspapers. People are sharing nonsense stories and accurate stories, but there's no differentiating between stuff that's full of nonsense and stuff that is accurate. And it's also, you know, nonsense stories travel faster.
Oh God, yes.
Oh, for sure. For sure, of course. Any bad publicity. That's why you see people do controversial stuff, because they know that nobody's noticing me. But
nobody's
lick the internet with this one thing, I'll be flying over the moon. That's the reality. Look, what about us? Who's looking after us? Because, you know, people are waiting for us to entertain. Yeah? We're also in the lockdown. We're also going through, I think, my brother Seyi just mentioned the situation with the bloody COVID. You know, Daliso, you stop your calendar is messing you up. You even live at home alone like me. What about us, guys? What are we reaching out to? How are we getting through these times, Seyi? What are we doing?
What's frustrating is you can't really complain, right? Because even when you feel your savings are going down, you're sitting alone, you know there are other people who are worse off. Yeah. So I want to complain, but I'm like, if I complain, people who have worse problems will start swearing at me. So it's weird. It's like you're frustrated, but there's no one
who are better off. Why do we complain? Why do we find Jeff Bezos, find Bill Gates, and start to DM those people? Get Diddy. Let's DM them and start complaining, because it's therapy. Is it not true?
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you the reason why we can't complain. Now, if you're in the Western world, like in Canada, the government is giving them $2,000 a month in Canada.
Yes. Straight up.
In the US, they are giving stimulus package.
Then look at his face. Look at Daliso. Daliso's like, where did I live? Canada.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
the government is paying their rent.
All of information. You must do your research to see how your information will hurt people. You just hurt Daliso with that information.
Yeah, let me tell you. I wish I was staying in Canada right now, because they are paying their rent and they are giving them $2,000 a month. Can you imagine that? In the US, government gave them, it gave us 1,200 stimulus package. I'm yet to receive mine. But guess what? Some people are now receiving $600 a week.
Yeah.
You know, unemployed, but it's called EDD, unemployment benefits. If you have been unemployed, $600 a week till this thing lasts. So now, do you now want to compare yourself to somebody in Nigeria that they said, sit at home,
exactly.
NEPA will take light. They will take light, heat will drive them out, soldiers will drive them back in with whip.
Yeah, you can't say it. You can't.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because
and
that's
same
why,
thing like
Malawi,
Malawi, you know, I have friends who haven't had electricity in like 2 days, who are like worrying about so much, and you just can't complain. You just got to keep whatever is frustrating you. But I like your idea. We need to call rich people. I need more rich friends who I can complain.
Because Eddie, guess what? Even though I've told my siblings that I've not worked in the last 3 months, they say, we know you have not worked, but just send $100. I'm like,
quickly.
You guys understand what I'm saying? They say,
listen,
we know you have not worked, but we know government is giving you some. Send us $100.
Guys, you know why I'm so happy you mentioned that, bro? Because that's the diasporan rule. We can't, that's just the rule of how we bridge the gap. We are here for a reason, guys. We're not just here to appear on Britain's Got Talent and run around Hollywood. We have obligations back home. It's just the life. And that becomes a story of diasporas together, coming together and not just helping your siblings in Congo, but also your siblings in Nigeria, your siblings in Malawi.
Yeah.
I was helping too many people. My bank shut my account, right? Thought I was money laundering. This is true. This is true. My bank just shut down my account. I called them. I said, what's going on? I can't get into my account. They're like, we need explanation for all of these things. And they sent me MoneyGram, Western Union, all of this.
War remit.
I'm African. Don't you understand what
you know the entire list? We become ambassadors, bro. It's true.
Let me tell you.
Also, people are good at asking. I gotta say, people are good at asking. People who you've decided to say no, the way they ask, you're like, okay, I'll send you $50.
Oh yeah.
Eddie, my siblings started asking me money the moment I was about to leave Nigerian airport. I've not left Nigeria. They said, well, you are leaving now. You don't need the Naira on you again. I said, I've just got into America. You guys are already asking for money.
Yes. But
so I knew what I was going in for, man. So once you are in UK or you're in Europe or America, bam, that's it. You got to keep sending money.
You do. And you know what? What a privilege to be asked. For people to consider you to be.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's an absolute privilege. And right now, with INFORAFRICA, as I mentioned earlier, so we know the idea is to have these conversations. Our conversations is slightly different because, you know, humor is a beautiful thing. It's therapy. For people that are watching us right now, it's a beautiful thing. I want to ask you guys something. So, Daliso, you speak your language?
I do not. I do not.
What is the language in Malawi? Is it literally Malawi?
Chichewa.
Chichewa. You don't speak a word of it?
No, less than a tourist.
So, so for you, speaking English throughout?
No. When I was small, so from the age 1 to 5, I spoke Chichewa.
Okay.
But then I was failing at school, and so my parents said, you must speak English because I was getting D's in English. And they regret it now because I switched to English, wasn't allowed to speak my home language at home to the point that I forgot it.
Like literally, but do you understand things that they say?
Little bits and pieces, but again, I was 5 the last time I was fluent.
You was, of course.
You know, and like, you know, even as a child, you speak child Chichewa. You know what I mean? I wasn't like the Shakespeare of Chichewa. So it was one of those things where my parents wished they couldn't have done it, but at the same time, I understand they wanted my grades to be better.
I get it.
And they knew when I'm home, I just want to speak my language.
You feel less connected to your country because you don't speak the language. Do you?
I don't at all.
Home, you know, you go home regularly, so.
Yeah, I used to, but now when I go to Malawi, I'm like, you have no idea. I'm like a Malawian hero. It's out of control.
Bro, I said to you, I need to come and see, bro. That will be.
After Britain's Got Talent, I came to the airport and there were hundreds of people with Daliso t-shirts waiting for me.
Wow, that's great.
Because, do you know, can you think of an Malawian celebrity? You can't, right?
Let's have a minute silence as well.
There's one or two, but they're my parents' age, right? So for the young people, I was it. So literally, I walked out and it was crazy. It was crazy.
That's when you should have just delivered a speech and say, and at the end say, this is why I'm going for presidency. That's the time. There's no shit, deliver it. Quickly, they've got your t-shirt, the campaign has started and go. The issue is you don't understand what they're saying, bro. So you might they're saying good things. They're probably saying, no, give him another compliment. He has money. Give him another. No, how do you deal with it? Like when people start speaking.
And Eddie, that is the beauty of Africa. Now imagine if Daliso now goes home to speak to his people. You know, that will bring, even if they are hungry, that's enough hope for them. Because they love you back home. That's why I said this is where the celebrities come in. The African celebrities come in.
Yeah. So
Seyi, you're Nigerian. What's your tribe?
Yoruba. West side. West side.
See this one. I like how we are suddenly in Compton. So quickly.
You know, let me tell you, everything about me is the West. I'm from Western Nigeria. I live in the West Coast of America. I'm from West Side of California. You know, so everything
West side. So you speak Yoruba.
Everybody West Side.
You speak Yoruba.
Oh, I speak it fluently. Yeah.
How fluent? So if you had to speak to your people right now about COVID, just give them a 30-second message of hope and calm them down, what would you say in Yoruba?
Àrùn COVID tó wà níta yìí, ẹ máa ṣọwọ́ yín, make sure pé tẹ́ bá ti jẹun tán, ẹ ṣọwọ́, tẹ́ bá lọ síta, ẹ ṣọwọ́ yín, ẹ wọ face mask sójú tẹ́ bá ti jáde, torí face mask yẹn ò ní jẹ́ kí ẹ̀mí àrùn yẹn sórí ẹgbẹ́ nílé yìí tó bá yẹ kẹ́ dúró nílé, ẹ róúnjẹ sílé. Àrùn yìí, àrùn tí ó gbóògùn ni, so Ọlọ́run kó máa ṣọ́ wa. Bam. I just told them to wash their hands, wear their face mask. This is a very, very terminal disease, so please stay home, stay safe. So yeah, I speak Yoruba.
Now I don't speak a word of Chichewa, right?
Right.
But white people don't know that. So I've got to admit, I've impressed a white woman who has asked me to speak Chichewa. I just started making words up, man. Because white girls will always say, "Can you say something to me in your language?" I'm not going to tell I don't speak my language.
You literally just like Chichewa.
You just, all you have to do is just sing something from Lion King.
Daliso, I'm not going to lie to you. I listened to Seyi for 30 seconds and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, this guy could just be spitting any Wizkid verse. We will never know.
I'm telling you.
It could be the Nigerian national anthem. How would we know? Later on, I'll say, Eddie,
have no idea. No idea.
That's the beautiful thing about language, man. It's such a great way to break down actual stereotypes, because sometimes we don't realize that we're afraid to speak our language to our friends, but we don't realize they're also afraid to speak their language with us. But when you see your friends speaking their language in their element, it's like seeing a whole different person too, right? It's like seeing about in his country. If I go to Daliso's country and I see how he relates to his people, it's like seeing a whole different Daliso. So the food that he will eat, just knowing about the local traditions. Those are the things that
there's this really silly thing I've noticed in the UK where you will realize that people think people with a thick accent, right? They think they're stupid. And I'm like, they're not speaking their language. In their language, that's not an accent. They could be like a politician speaking magnificent things, an orator in their language, but you're judging them because in their fourth language, they've got a thick accent. It's ridiculous.
Identity, that's the bit that used to kill me all the time. Like I use that in my material. When I speak about when I was growing up in the UK and they asked me, Eddie, so, with a British accent, Eddie, mate, so what, you're African, yeah? Like, yeah, I'm African, so can you speak African? What? What do you want me to do? A cocktail of different languages? Throw a little Nagadefi, Nebawoni, Etisane, Toyote. Like, what do you want me to do? Mambo Power. Like, go, well, for Africa is a country, mate. For Africa is a country. And this is the misconception. And even then, for me to have my own language and then add yours, can you do the same?
It shows how extra brilliant you are.
Can you do the same? Like, I'm an advanced version of you. Like, these are the conversations. I'm like, yo, you are iPhone 6. I am X.
iPhone 12.
I'm iPhone 12. I'm now artificially intelligent. I'm more artificially intelligent than you.
And you know, we're very rebellious. That's why we give them like derogatory names like MAGA. See this MAGA. Look at this MAGA. See this MAGA. You are talking to me like a MAGA like you. So you see, they were like, "What's MAGA?" I say, "Hey, you know how far." You say I'm dull, Abi. You're a MAGA.
You start breaking down our own little tradition of our dialects so they understand. I like sometimes just going into language, especially with my Congolese people. And you have other people there that are really, hung on speaking English. I'll just go into Congolese. That's a real quick word to say, we're just going into the office. You stay outside. It's a very, very quick way to say it. So I wanna know, guys, in terms of, life now as we move forward, everybody's an influencer. That's the theme. Everyone's an influencer. Your mom could be an influencer. Your father, your auntie. It's not just celebrities and personalities. People just try to put this extreme burden on. It's on you guys to tell us what to do, when actually it's on everybody. Upbringing in people's homes is, that's a part of being an influence, right? How can we apply ourselves as Africans right now around the world? When I say Africans, I mean those in Jamaica, in South America, those in Nigeria, in Australia, those are in Asia. How do we connect? How do we become one word? I'm not saying everybody will do it at the same time, but what's the process? I want to start with Daliso. Daliso, give us a presidential speech, because right now, this might be the policy we're taking forward, my guy.
Right?
Well, I think
the Daliso effect.
I think everybody has got one superpower, one super strong muscle, right? For mine, it happens to be being funny, right? But there are other people who maybe it's something else. And I think it's whatever you are best at, you have got to just put your all into putting that out there. Yes, and I think that's the most you can do. And if for you, it happens to be that you know a lot about economics, then you can do a talk about economics and help other people with their businesses. Yes. No matter what your one super strength is, you've got to put that out in the world and make it available.
Everybody's got one superpower.
You are a politician, Daliso. You're a politician.
No, he's a politician.
I'm a politician, you think?
Yeah, a politician.
Big time. Seyi, deliver your own campaign.
All right. At this point, like I said earlier on, I realized something that most African, and I don't mean to shade any African leaders, but most of our African leaders lack, and only very few of them have shown this, and that is selflessness. Putting others before you. Look at what Mandela did. That's why Mandela will always be Mandela. Our children's children will come and see Mandela. And I think we as Africans need to start, what made us great, and that is that communal effort where you are your brother's keeper, putting your people first. We already, that thing already works for us. Do you know why Africans don't suffer postpartum stress when our women give birth? It's because when our women give birth, your grandma will come from your husband's side. The grandma will come from the other side. Some of your aunties will come. They tell your wife, you rest, feed the baby, sleep. They will take care of her and all that. Why they take care of the baby? You understand? That's putting people first before material things. And I think we need to go back to the basics. For Africa to come back, be united as one, we need to get back to that mentality, the thing that made us great. Why people are going back to ancient wisdom. And we have that. That's what I think.
I think you guys have just made a big mistake. You have just shattered your comedy career. With this.
We have that.
You have nobody will be looking for you to make them laugh. It's over. You might as well get into your campaigns, because I'm telling you right now, guys, so you might be going into your daily show now. People will be like, yes, that's really funny. But what are your policies on Malawian? This is the mistake. It's so true. The biggest mistake comedians can make is get serious. I've had,
I'm telling you.
No, I've had ladies leave on even during a date, and I start talking about my passion for Africa, and they start looking like, oh, this is too much. Like their brain cannot comprehend. The second date may not happen. It's too much.
Yeah.
And they see the difference.
Yeah.
You guys,
I know.
I even had someone in my comments one time say, why does he get sad when he starts talking about Malawi? And I was like, I can't be a comedian every moment, man. I'm talking about people dying.
People just have a preconceived impression of once they know you're a comedian. That's why, you know, Alibaba said, when people see a comedian, they're like, oh, you're a comedian, make me laugh.
Make me laugh.
So they say, so when you see a boxer, you say, oh, you're a boxer, hit me in the face. No, you don't say that.
Exactly. Oh, you're a doctor. Hey, I've got this headache that's been hitting me for the past 2
Exactly. So when it's
although
just, oh my God,
actually right now, my brother is a doctor, right? And he gets calls from all his friends right now saying, oh, this symptom, is this COVID? Oh,
yeah, I know, right? I know.
Everybody's calling him.
Wait, is your brother in Malawi or where is he?
Because no, he's in the UK.
He's God.
He's infectious diseases specialist. So right now
he's
like,
God, oh yeah.
I was about to say,
running from hospital to hospital, training each of the doctors.
My God, because I was about to say, thank God for it. Because if it was in Malawi, there'll be people lining up outside with a bunch of.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Is this COVID? He will be in so much trouble.
We found COVID.
So your brother is working. So where is he working exactly? Tell us.
So he's based in Liverpool, but because he's infectious diseases, he's traveling quite a lot to all of the different places.
Okay, where training people.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's actually crazy, guys. Listen, this has been beautiful, man. It's been wonderful. It's been, you know, it's something that we should have done a long time ago. It's something we should continue doing. Just brothers getting together, catching up, having conversation, and actually showing the world there's more to us than just the laughter aspect. You know, we impact people that will come together in one room. Thousands of people with different personalities, different situations, like current needs are different, but we somehow make them all laugh at the same time. And I applaud myself, but I also applaud you guys, because I know how hard it is to stand up there and do what you do, sometimes when we have bad days. So a day like this, or a week like this, or during this period that you're still working, you're still showing love to our people out there, I must say thank you, my brother, from the bottom of my heart, my brothers. I love you guys for making time.
Thank you for having us, man. Thank you for having us.
Merci beaucoup, my brother. Merci beaucoup.
Campaign, any final messages?
Just not really a final message, but I miss laughter. I miss clapping. I can't. The day after COVID, I'm doing a show. We're doing a show together. We need to bring the laughter back.
For sure.
You know what? Yes, Eddie. The same way they do One Africa Fest, start doing One Africa Comedy Fest UK, and we're coming.
My bro,
all right?
we're going to be doing it, the INFORAFRICA Festival, man. The INFORAFRICA Festival.
I am in for Africa. I am in for 100%.
Africa. It's a beautiful thing, and we need to tour the continent. I'm literally saying, guys, when I say tour the continent, I don't mean we fly to Nigeria, the quick wink at Kenya, the land in Johannesburg, and we tour.
Every country.
We're going to be swimming across some rivers just to get to the other side to perform.
We need a comedy bus. We need a comedy bus with our faces on the side.
No, comedy bus. If the bus doesn't work, we'll top of the elephant. That's a real tour, my guy.
And when we go to Morocco, we go on the camel.
My guy, this is the beauty of Africa. We have to dive into the Great Zambezi Falls. Why not? I'm all about that.
For sure.
Yeah, we're ready. Let's go. Let's do it.
My brother Seyi Brown, Daliso Chaponda, thank you so much for spending this time with me, Comedy Hour, man. You've definitely allowed us to laugh, which has stopped us from crying. My brother, stay safe. Daliso, good luck with your show. I know you've got a show coming up right now.
Thank you so much, man.
Please, I know in that America it's up and down, so man, stay safe.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All right, Daliso, take care of you, man.
Adios, man. Thank you.
So that was Daliso, and of course the one and only Seyi Brown, man. It's been Comedy Hour, guys. Let's take it to another level. Once again, we're going to come back with more conversation. I hope you're all staying safe. I know right now the comedians are doing their bit, the DJs are doing their bit, the health experts are also doing their part, the footballers are also doing their part. It's a beautiful thing as long as we're all in it together. Big shout out to Initiative INFORAFRICA. My name is Eddie Kadi and I'm signing out. Bye-bye.